I flew the DJI Flip during a high wind advisory and had a terrifying experience. So, I wanted to get much better footage than I got. I have the Fly More combo, but I only took the Flip out for one flight after the way I witnessed how winds affect the drone. The DJI Flip weighs 250 grams, and the winds pummeled the Flip to the point where I thought it might get blown out of the sky. I mean, it looked like the Flip was going to go vertical based on how the winds blew the drone around. One problem, a chief problem that's emerging with the DJI Flip to me is that the weight makes it so that the wind is able to push the drone around, and that makes it unusable for me in a lot of circumstances. During this flight, I had an experience wherein the memory card on the drone didn't record, so I had to revert to using the controller images to post online. Those videos get more views anyway. People on YouTube, I don't think, really care about the exact image quality of the drone. So this was, I lifted from the controller, and you're going to see the wind advisory coming up soon. The wind advisory told me that the drone could not return to home automatically if I wanted to, that I was expected to lower the altitude of the drone and manually fly home. I did that. I don't use return to home. Return to home is risky. But I found it interesting that the DJI controller told me that the wind advisory was so high that I had to manually bring the drone home when I didn't even go out that far. I really wanted to fly high and far with the Flip on this day and do multiple flights, but I couldn't do that, because of the wind. I mean, ultimately, I think that the Flip has positives and negatives. Oh, here's strong wind warning, aircraft unable to return to home automatically, lower altitude immediately to return to home manually. And you saw that a sudden gust of wind did make the drone tilt during that shoot. While I was flying the Flip on that day, the drone was constantly tilting against the wind. And the wind at one point looked like it was going to, take the drone away from me, which I wouldn't want. I mean, I wouldn't want to land a $700 drone in someone's, field and have to ask them for permission to take it back these days. People hate drones, and they'd probably yell at me if I did that. Ultimately, I think the image quality is fine. You could obviously get better image quality with a better camera, but I'm content with this. I'm just disappointed that I couldn't go out further because all throughout the flight, I was terrified that the wind was going to blow the drone into somebody else's yard and that there was going to be some incident that I would regret. I would never want to get accused of trespassing. So I have generally positive things to say about the Flip. I think the Flip has a lot of safety features because it has caged propellers. The caged propellers make it so that it's less likely to hurt someone if it falls on the ground. If it falls out of the sky, it's less likely to hurt someone. Drone injuries can be horrific. A drone is like a flying blade, so you have to be very careful when flying it over people. You certainly would incur a high legal cost if somebody sues you. I don't fly insured. I think that the Flip is safe enough not to insure. If I flew, the new Mavic, I think I'd probably have to insure that. I don't know that I'd want to expose myself to $1 million lawsuit. But there are trade-offs, and the Flip has no weight and no power essentially, and the wind bats the Flip around, like it's a feather. You know, um, I mean, I had a good time flying the drone, but I have like three other batteries that I wanted to use, and I just didn't want to do another flight. And here you could see how the wind really affects the drone. I usually have no problem with landing a drone, but look, during this episode, the wind blew the drone around at a very low altitude. This is not very high off the ground. And the wind made it so that the drone couldn't even land on the mat. I mean, I had to use my hand to guide the drone down. That's what I did here. So, yeah, I had a good time trying flying the Flip.